Elio guys, and welcome back to another episode of Infinite Magicraid. In today's video though, we'll be taking a look at the legendary unit, which is Horus, and he's obviously, I'm going to say, one of the recommended characters that if you do wish to go through the reroll process of getting, it's obviously going to be worth it for you. But we're going to find out in this video why it's pretty much worth it if you want to go down that route. I unfortunately don't have him at the moment, but I pray that one day I will. But anyways, Horus is an attacker type. He's also the red mark here, so once again very useful in the Tower of Mark if you need a decent solid hitting red mark unit, which I am currently lacking. So developers over there, Infinite Magicraid, send me a Horus, man. Please send me a Horus. But let's take a look at his skills though. So for his basic attack, which is bloodthirsty sickle, this move deals 2 stages of 90% attack damage to a single enemy with a 30% chance to inflict slight wound for 2 turns. So from my understanding, slight wound is kind of slightly nerfs healing, which could be a very good debuff in certain scenarios, like if you're fighting Luna or any other unit that heals excessively, because it makes their heals obviously less potent. And with this move being fully booked up though, it goes from 90% to, if I'm reading this correctly, 130. Seems kind of weird, but it also makes sense because since it deals 2 stages of 130, that basically equates out to 260% attack damage, which is pretty standard for a legendary unit, so I understand it. It just, at this point in time, it just looks weird to say, you know, 2 times 130% versus the regular 260% attack damage that we're, you know, used to seeing here. His second skill though, which is ancestral power, which currently has a 4-turn cooldown, deals 450% attack damage to a single enemy. Meanwhile, it deals 50% more damage to any target whose HP is below 50%. So already we have a secondary effect, which is universal across the board. If you have HP, this move is going to hit you, and if you have less HP below that 50% threshold, this move is going to hit you for even more. So with this move fully booked up though, we have 30-30-30, which is what, 90%. We're looking at, what is that, 540% of his attack damage, which isn't the highest single target attack damage in the game, but 540% plus the additional 50% I'm assuming of that move. So we're looking at 270% additional damage plus the 540. Sorry if I'm throwing out basic math here. But it also gets reduced to 3 turns. That's already a massively damaging move that just punishes you essentially the longer the battle goes on and the lower your HP gets. So having your HP above a certain threshold for Horus is probably a very good idea, because if not, dude is going to be hitting all kinds of damage on you. His passive though, which is erosion, Horus gains an additional 14% more leech rate, and with this being fully booked up, it looks like he also gains an additional 8%, putting his complete rates at, what is that, 22%? Seems a little bit odd unless I'm reading that incorrectly, but 22%, or is leech effect something totally different? It doesn't say right up there, so I am unsure completely what that means, but I'm assuming that is. Essentially what this is saying here is that Horus has built-in self-sustainability, obviously with the correct gear, which I'll show later in the video, would help benefit that even more. But he's one of the units already that you can see it would be okay if you build him with more leech based gear, since his moves already will have that innate ability built in. So that's just icing on the cake here. And then for his ultimate, which is called Storm of Crows, and it has a 5-turn cooldown unbooked. It deals 3 stages of 90% attack damage to all enemies, so it is an AoE. And it also has that secondary effect of, if this skill deals 50% extra damage to a target with less than 50% HP. Meaning, once again, if your HP is below that threshold, this move gets pumped up even more. And with this fully booked up though, it goes up from 90% for the 3 times to a whopping, what is that, 115%. Once again, a little bit odd, but 115% times 3, we're looking at what, roughly 345? I want to say 345% for an AoE, which is pretty huge damage. Pretty huge. And then the cooldown does get dropped down to 4 turns. So once again, if you're playing with them, especially in a manual situation here, what you could do is have your other units get their HP lowered pass that 50% threshold, have him come out and deal this additional damage to everyone. Chances are, especially depending on his gear and what, awaken level he is, someone's just going to pass away. So looking at his exclusive weapon, Bloodthirsty Sickle, at level 1, the effect of erosion, which is his leech rate, is doubled if your HP is below that 50% threshold, meaning not only will you take 50% more damage from his moves that he's doing, but he also gets to heal more. Great for self-sustainability. At level 2, after an enemy target takes direct damage, if their HP is below 30%, Horus will attack them one more time. It takes effect on each target only once per battle. Weird effect, but I mean, it is additional damage. It kind of sucks though that you're dedicating an entire exclusive weapon slot only for that to happen once, but especially in a PvP situation, that could end up being the matter between life and death. And then at level 3, it grants Horus 20% additional crit damage, I'm assuming across the board here. That's not that big, but I guess they had to give him something for whatever reason that is. I mean, 20% is 20%, I'll take it. And then obviously at 4 and 5, he gets a speed increase. But yeah, Horus is just absolutely amazing. I'm going to go over here to the preview tab though, just to kind of see how he functions in the game, since I don't have him myself. So normally what I do is I always try and start off with their ultimate here, and then I'll end up popping their secondary skill, and we'll just go from the first skill right here, which, yeah, he's doing the 2 basic attacks. But what was that? So he hits them multiple times. We see the whole leech rate going off here. Okay, inflict wound went up there. But yeah, you would definitely use them, especially if you're trying to get through the game. I'm not going to say that he's going to carry you through the entire campaign, but you should have no problems breaking into hell, because you're starting off here with a unit with a strong AoE, also combined with his innate ability to heal himself, also combined with the lower their HP, the more damage he'll deal to them in general. That's pretty much Horus in a nutshell here. But hopefully the video helped in case you're curious about Horus. If you just pulled him and you're like, well, is he good at all? Yes, he's very good. Obviously at level 1 and on dummies, I can't show you his true potential. But especially the ones that I've faced in PvP, he hits like a mother trucker. But that's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and checking out the other videos. And I, of course, will see you in the next one.